Good morning and welcome aboard. Welcome to this session of Trade Along Live with Saul. This is a subscription service. We're here every day, slugging it out every trading day. We're focused on the S&P 500 E-mini, so put up an S&P 500 E-mini chart. If you have any questions about trading, let us know. We're a full service operation when it comes to trading education. We set up this Trade Along Live session as an opportunity to trade along with Saul, who is a 25-year veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He gives out some key information for the morning session. He provides a roadmap by setting key levels and giving them out to you, giving you a pivot price and other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. These are considered hot areas for this morning's trade. Saul calls them areas and zones. These are his focus for his own trading. Saul is a trader first for his own trading account, and he also provides this service as an opportunity for traders to trade better than they otherwise would trade elsewhere, in his humble opinion. Being able to trade along with a 25-year veteran trader is something. Him giving you his proprietary scalping levels is another thing. And the concept of being able to have a wingman and key levels and zones for the morning session has really has some buzz around it. And we appreciate individuals out there letting their friends know and associates, some of their family members. Just send them to tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. We're every trading day slugging it out. If you need help trading platform, if you need help in your trading, if you're not happy with your trading technique, ask, and we can help you with that also. It all starts here with signing up for Saul's friends and family offer that I just sent out to everybody. I'll send it out again. It doesn't show up in the chat unless you are here, and we have a bunch of people coming in. Appreciate it. Hey, Johnny Z, how are you? Johnny Z's in the house. Now that's out to everybody. Nick, I sent it out to you personally, so you have it. Hey, Zahurl, Rose, Philip, Nick, Mahesh. Everybody make sure you sign up. It's nominal. Just shows that you care and you have means. KG, Johnny Z, James, Glenn. I got two Glens, Glenn N and Glenn M. Hey, Edward, Dean. Colthod. Hey, Colthod, you've been in before. How you making out? So there's no back in chat. Mahesh, thank you. Glenn, I know you've been in before too. Let me know what you're up to. Use the chat feature to respond. Yes, we've got a lot of time zones checking in, so welcome aboard. Saul's going to pick up the mic. We're going to go through the morning session today. He'll give out the levels. Just make sure you're registered and signed up for the service. Take a moment. I'll look for you in the background. Hey, Glenn. Glenn, I think you're signed up. Just let me know. So I know you pop in and out. And again, if you want to find us, we've got two things. We've got a website called tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. And to come in or have somebody referred into this webinar, the Zoom webinar.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? Let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 43.90, 43.90. Resistance above at 44 even, 09, 13, 30, 39. Support below at 84, 75, 64, 56, and 48. Pivot 90, support 84, 75, 64, 56, 48. Resistance on the upside at 44 even, 09, 22, 30, and 39. All right. So, market here reacting to the PPI number, which was the wholesale inflation number that came out on the backdrop of yesterday's CPI number, which is the retail inflation number. And some say that the wholesale is a little bit more indicative of what should be happening, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, the market here is definitely reacting to some of that news and some of the comments that were made by a couple of Fed governors who were a little bit more positive than usual, considering what's been going on lately. So that and they just broke it yesterday afternoon based on the well, the fact that the inflation number was still inflationary, and they kind of just gave up those, came off those highs and then just broke it down in the afternoon. But the afternoon trade, again, is very, very difficult and very, very thin, very, very one-sided. So you have to be careful when you're trading that stuff in the afternoon. So welcome to everybody. We're trading mini S&Ps. We're looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels that we just gave out. And if you look at the chat box area, you'll find those levels that we just gave out, in addition to price action opportunities that occur once the market paints some bars. Combination of both of those gives us our opportunities to scalp the market around various levels. And then we're looking for about, I would say right now, about four points in our rotations for profit targets and stops. That could change, and could change intraday depending on, again, what the market gives us at any given moment in time, and that changes. That's why we are traders, right? We are trading the opportunities the market gives us, and we're trading live, obviously, and so we have to keep ourselves protected against any news that might come out that might affect the market one way or the other, and might affect some hitting some stops, so on and so forth. But that's why there's stops in there, so we don't get run over by any one trade, and we're always looking at the next opportunity. So in addition to the levels, we do have price action opportunities, and again, we like to we trade focus on the morning hours. In addition to that, we are looking for about 4 to 5 trades on average. And I think average is a key number. I think keep a word. I think we do average about 4 or 5. Some days, obviously, we're going to get more, and some days we're going to get less. It all depends on volatility on any given day. And we don't control volatility. We just trade it, right? That's all we're trying to do here. All right. Again, if anybody's new here, or if you have any questions, if you put them in the chat box area, we'd be glad to answer them for you as the market continues to uptick here. We're looking at the even areas, a little resistance. And again, it's an area, right? It's not like somebody has to, it's an area, and how you scale into that area is all dependent on everybody's risk tolerance. Everybody trades it just a little bit differently. Nobody here trades the same, and everybody has different risk tolerances that they have to incorporate into their own personal account. So you have to understand what your risk tolerance is, and then we try to maximize those opportunities based on your risk tolerances. As we come up here to the even area, we got there. We got down up here to even. So in case you had an order in, I mean, you have to. Oh, no, it's a no-brainer. We're right at even. Be perfect, right? No one trade is. We're not going to base all our work on one trade. That's for sure. The market continues to have it. Let's see. Moving average in the 5 minute. We have a 200-day moving average, which is the green band right there. That's what we're looking at as far as moving averages are concerned. We're just kind of hanging around this even area. And if you don't like, I keep saying this yesterday, if you don't like the way the market's trading around that area, you can always exit for, cut your number of contracts that you're trading or anything like that. As we are just kind of hanging right here against the even area, working the even area here a little bit. Again, you can cut your number of contracts you're trading. Maybe if you scaled in above there, you were able to cover some there at the 99 when it punched back down there. Again, depending on your scale, right? And we also have to look at the price action at any given level or opportunity and kind of make a determination on your own whether you want to stay with the trade or not. And you have to understand the movement, the price action was as you're making that decision. Again, everybody here doesn't have to trade the same way. Everybody does their own thing. We suggest things, and you have to understand your risk tolerance and be able to take advantage of it. And then that way you can maximize those profits. So, all right, we're just kind of hanging around the even area. Got up to 3 and change, and then coming back down here again. If you don't like the price action, you want to exit. If you have multiple contracts, maybe you took some profits, a little bit of a profit there, and took back down to 99. If not, then that's fine. It's giving you choices here. Or you could keep your stop in. Everybody, you can make adjustments based on the price action. Remember, I keep saying that because this is what the market does. Again, let's see what. Let's see here if we got any other numbers coming out this morning or not, as we're kind of hanging around this even. So we had PPI that came out. Atlanta Fed Business Inflation Expectation Index is coming out at 9 o'clock. Could be interesting. Could be an interesting number. We'll see what it wants to do here. And then there, of course, there's some Fed speaks that continues. Yesterday, there was a couple created some volatility as we are hanging around this even area here. Again, trying to see what it wants to do in this area. You are given choices, right? You don't have to keep your stop in place. If we've been here for a certain amount of time and you don't like the price action, you always have choices. Or if you're trading multiple contracts, you can make decisions based on that. How you manage those trades is completely up to you. And what we're trying to do here is maximize your profits. So we're just giving you different ideas here as to how you can manage that risk. So then there's 11:30. There is Fed speak in Chicago time. And then at 12 o'clock, 20-year note, 30-year note auction that could affect financials, obviously, and the market there in the financial market is very, very, bouncing around there. Very nervous trade there. Maybe a dead cat bounce here over the last couple of days. It's still kind of very, kind of just chopping around there. All right, we're just kind of hanging here around this even. So again, you have choices, right? And we don't have to love a trade, and you can also scratch the trade, or if you make a little bit of money just to pay for commissions, and then move on to the next opportunity. Right now, we've got support back at the, it's the pivot area there at 90. Our next resistance area we have is up at 09. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Investors will digest a slew of bank results over the next several sections. JP Morgan kicking off our Q1 earnings season this morning, keeping an eye on where the strong and the weak spots are in the financial system, as well as the knockout effects of the escalating geopolitical tensions. Another wild card is trading activities, which could benefit or suffer in the current volatile environment. Consumers and business banking could provide some lift as consumers continue to spend despite red hot inflation. And banks are also expecting to see some improvement on the loan front as interest rates began to climb in the quarter, despite a Fed that has only started to embark on tightening cycles. Fundamentals are holding up well near term, and better loan growth, rising interest rate margins, and continued strong credit quality. Now, I read some of the numbers as far as they're concerned. They're definitely showing some areas where they're not lending as much. That was a big drop, and so that could be, I guess that's what the Fed is trying to do, right? I guess it's kind of working. Their opportunities, well, their logic there is to make sure that raise rates, make money a little bit more expensive. People stop borrowing, spending. So that could be working, right, as far as what the Fed is trying to do here. See if obviously all of these things take a little bit longer to develop. As we continue to rally here, looking at the 09 as our next resistance area. And again, we talked about exiting some of those trades there at even because of the price action. Coming up here to the 08 area. 9, sorry. Got up to 08. Again, you have to have your orders kind of there. Doesn't matter anymore. Hopefully, if you're in, you got in there at the 9. It got up to 975, getting a little bit of a rotation here off of it. Again, you should probably, you have to have your orders in place either to exit and also to enter, right? Sometimes they just flash quickly back and forth, and you can't even fight the speed of the computer. So your orders have to kind of just get situated automatically there when you get your order in place. And there are platforms that should manage that for you without too much of a hard time, as we getting a nice little rotation here against this 09. All right. All right, nice little rotation there against our 09 area, and giving us our 4 points right in here. All right, so nice little trade there. Again, we talked about managing your trade down at the even area, the way the price action was. We're suggesting to exit some of those trades because of the way the price action was what the price action was telling us, I should say. So if you manage that correctly, maybe you were able to get out of that for a little bit of a profit, or maybe a scratch even. It gave you plenty of opportunities to scratch. And then the market coming up here to the 09 and giving us a nice little rotation here. Again, we're looking 4 points is what we're trying to achieve, but that doesn't necessarily, there's nothing etched in stone here. All right, we are traders, and you're looking at price action to help us determine what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do things. And the price action was definitely dictating that maybe around the even area, even though it did stay there for a bit, it was hovering. So the area was a level to be considered, except it wasn't giving us any rotation to give us a profit. So the level was there, but the market was a little bit too strong at that particular moment to give us any reason to stick with the trade. So again, it's a matter of managing the trade. Managing your trades is very important. And then we have very nice rotation here against our 09 level to give us a nice quick rotation and a quick profit there without taking any heat whatsoever. So that was nice of it. Hey, we got to appreciate the market when it gives us a nice rotation. We try to find areas that give us these inflection points that give us an opportunity to scalp. Sometimes it works better than others, right? All we can say. All right. Any idea, any concept, any trading? I don't think it's advice or whatever. I'm trying to, talk with everybody about here is we kind of teach it in our education course that we offer. So the levels we give out, any reasons why we should exit those trades because of what I was mentioning before, we try to explain to you why it would be a reason to exit, so on and so forth. The goal of our education course is for you to be able to do everything on your own. find the levels on your own to determine whether you should stay in the trade or not, determine whether you have the price action opportunities that are out there. All these concepts and ideas that I mentioned are taught, and everybody here is different. Nobody here trades the same way. Everybody here has different risk tolerances, and I appreciate that. And you have to find that balance of how many contracts you're trading, how you enter them, how you exit them, even if it's one lot, and then how you manage that. And all of that's part of our education course that we talk about. That's also the psychological part of our education course. All right, continue to uptick here. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 22 area, so nothing for a bit. But the market did rally last night, and kind of was kind of broke, I think, once Europe opened up, as you can see. We do have a small number coming out here at 9 o'clock. Don and Mark, if you want to jump in with us and chit chat, because I have to leave at the bottom of the next hour there at about 9:30, or maybe a little bit before. My daughter's coming in from out of town, and I have to get her from the airport. So if you want to jump in here with your headsets, and everybody likes to hear you guys better than me, so come on in. All right, we continue to rally here a little bit. Our next level of resistance we have is up at the 22 area. Is that the pivot, the Bollinger? Not our pivot. No, our pivot today is 43.90, but it is the middle band of the Bollinger Bands, correct? We gave out our pivot this morning, and if you look at the chat, we'll repeat the levels again, and those are our levels with the pivot in the middle there. There they are. But you're right, the blue band is the middle of the Bollinger Band, but not our pivot. All right, we continue to slowly uptick here. Yesterday morning we were rallying all day, and then in the afternoon they just kind of just took it off. Next number is no 22. I don't have. 13 is not. That's not correct. So 9 and then 22. That is not our number. Oh, not my number. It's Mark's number. He'll make that adjustment in a sec. He's a little groggy, California time. He's off his game. I did say 13. Did I earlier? Then it's my bad. I take it all back. I take everything I've said about you back. Every mean thing I've said about you, I take it all back. Then I apologize. It's me. I'm on California time. Okay, no, you guys are right. I am wrong. I don't know what I was dreaming about.
Too much sun.
Well, I did golf yesterday, just in case you were wondering, but it wasn't. It was a little windy, and it was a little wet. Not so bad, but yeah, I just want to be out in California. That's what I really want. So I'm sorry if I obviously I did say it obviously because everybody's telling me to. See, I can definitely admit that I'm wrong. Some people have a little problem with that. Not here. I've been wrong many times.
You're California dreaming.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not really, but okay. I have no problem dreaming about being. I'm going to be in California this summer. I'm going to be. That's where our basketball tournament's going to be. San Diego. Hope, Mark, you're going to come visit.
Of course I am. I've been waiting. What are you talking about for the last 2 years?
Well, we've had issues the last 2 years, but okay. Sure, last 2 years
I've
only.
still been waiting.
How's everybody doing? How's all the kiddies?
Good. Getting big fast. Too fast.
Did you find a school? It's going to cost you about half your wealth.
Don't start. Why do you think I'm back trading?
Yeah, you're back trading. I think you should just do it the way Don does it. Get them out on the farm, get them to work, put them to work right away.
That's you should open up a school, Don. Like a little vocational type deal, and I'll send my kids there.
And he will send them there. It's cheaper.
Exactly. They don't need an iPad or anything like that. MacBook Pro.
But they don't give you that. You got to buy it.
The school she's going to, you have to buy it.
Oh, the tuition wasn't enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, by the way, you need this laptop as well.
How old is she?
She's 5, just turned 5.
Oh, so kindergarten, you need a laptop already?
That's exactly what I said.
Wow.
I said, what are we doing with the laptop in kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Exactly.
I mean, what's going to happen when she asks you for your phone next year?
Exactly.
How can you say no? She's got an iPad.
She's probably going to want to drive herself soon.
That's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Without she's just going to call an Uber with her iPad.
There you go. So, Don, if you can get that school going really quick, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, on how to sweep floors.
Yeah, the barn.
Tractor driving, whatever it is.
So just for those of you who are new, Don and Don's from Texas, and Mark is from sunny state of California, and they've been with me for a while, taking our course, and now they just kind of help me out when I need to leave a little earlier when I'm not in town or out of town or not around. So they kind of jump in there for me and help me out. And I like to get them on once, a couple times a week to break up my monotony of talking to myself. Not easy, let me tell you. Not easy talking to yourself all day. We got in at 09, by the way. We were short at 09 when the market rotated up there just a little bit ago. And we took our profits when it rotated off. So we were looking for a 4-point profit target, and we got our profit already off of that, and now we're kind of flat. So we were short already originally when the market rotated. Right now we've got support.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm out.
Now I'm flat.
Yeah, same here. I was holding for that 99 area.
All right. Well, there you go. See, some of these guys are looking for a little bit more than 4 points. Again, they're taking profits along the way. I'm assuming you're taking profits along the way. You're not just keeping your whole, unit that you're trading down to.
My rule is when we hit 10 points, I'm out. I don't care where it's going. It was aiming toward that blue band. I had to get out quick.
I was just going to say that there was support even when I got down to the even area. You guys were all so excited about it. I forgot to mention. But yeah, we had supported even. And like I mentioned earlier, there was a lot of give and take, a lot of pushback around the even area when we first got up there. So it would make sense to assume, but from a technical point of view, when the market rotates back to that area where the bulls and the bears were fighting a little bit, you're going to have a little bit of an opportunity there to either like cover some shorts, or if you're looking for a quick scalp, maybe you can scalp it as well. But again, you have to be here to see the give and take around the even area originally, and then you can make that determination afterwards. So it was a nice cover, boys.
So you're going to the airport? Did I hear you say that?
Yeah, I had to go. She's coming in from New York. Of course, she can afford the Uber, but no, Dad's going to pick her up.
You got to go to O'Hare?
That's the one.
Oh my God.
It's not that. It's just a little jump. It's on the highway. It's quick. It's not that. No big deal.
Oh, okay.
It's not but what 30, 40 minutes from your house, is it?
With the expressway with no traffic, it's about 25 minutes. So the hard part is not getting to the airport. The hard part is if she's not
Getting to
there.
the airport.
If she's not there, then you have to
Go in circles.
drive around. Yeah, and no, that nobody. You can't stop anywhere, and then they have construction, and it's just so I'm timing it so that she's waiting for me. Of course, my wife, you can't let her wait for you. I'm like, yeah, I can.
What you do is you pull into an area and you stop your car and you raise your hood and you get out and you look at it like you're working on it.
No, there is funny you say that. There is an area about 2 miles before you get off the expressway, and right off, of course, there's a toll. So once you pay the toll, there's a whole bunch of cars parked on the side waiting for a phone call or something from people, and then they go. So it's funny, you don't need to lift up your hood. There's a whole bunch of cars sitting on the side just waiting for that call. They used to have, they probably still do, like an area where a parking lot where you can just go and wait until they call you. And now I don't know what they did with that parking lot, because I don't know why people are sitting on the side of the road. But they used to have a parking lot where you could just go, and it's called a cell phone area, where you can just wait there until somebody calls you, and then you go pick them up. So, going to, it's not so bad. Chicago traffic is not LA. I don't fear like getting in my car and getting on the highway like you do in LA. You probably like, are you really going to the airport? I mean, I don't have to do that. In Chicago, it's a little bit different getting on the highway here than it is in LA. I'll tell you that much. When I was there a few years back and I rented a car, oh my God, took me 2.5 hours to do a 30-minute ride. It's like, okay, and people want to live out here. I will admit, though, it was a nice ride because the ocean was on the right side. Don't get that here in Chicago. Well, we do get it on Lakeshore Drive, but it's not the same.
Yeah, you get in traffic, you're driving along and nobody will let you in. You pull up alongside them, and you point at them and point down at their tires. Says, "Your tire, your tire."
And there you go.
And they start worrying about their tire, and they give you a spot to get in.
Oh, Don's got all good ones
He
this morning.
does. That's a
Start
good
writing
move, Don.
down.
Hey,
Let me see. Side of the road. Open the hood.
that's it.
Your tire's flat.
As you can tell here, since there's not that much, since we're talking more than trading, there's not that much. We are very patient, waiting for opportunities. It's very important to wait for opportunities to trade. We're not just jumping in here on just because we want to trade. We'd love to find trades, but you have to find trades that make sense to you, make sense from a technical point of view, and also make sense from a price action point of view. So those are all factors that you consider when you find a trade. Right now, the only trade that I've got that I'm looking at, if you are very aggressive, is maybe support there at the 90, first rotation back to our pivot. We did have support at the even area. That already happened. So that's gone. And you had a nice rotation off of that even area if you did jump in. And now the next level that we have, if you're very aggressive. Otherwise, you're probably going to look for the 84 area. So let's see. We do have that number came out a little bit. You can what was that number that just came out here? Atlanta Fed business inflation expectation number, and it kind of just broke it from even down here to this to our blue band here. The market is very, very nervous. You can imagine. Nervous about the inflation, nervous about the geopolitical situation with Russia and Ukraine. Some things are not going away. And the inflation situation and the Russia-Ukraine situation, they're not going away anytime soon. So we will be trading that for a while, it looks like. And we just have to kind of trade it accordingly, being patient and finding areas that are, we do this every day. So, we've got different areas based on the price action every day. So we'll see what happens today. Every day is a new day. That's what we keep saying. Our motto here is always to make sure you come back the next day. That's the key. We can always have a bad day. There's no doubt about that, right? We try to minimize those bad days, obviously. But the key is not to be able to, get to the point where you aren't able to make sure you come back the next day. Always have to make sure you come back the next day. Very important. Like I said, we're all allowed to have a bad day. All right, we're just kind of hanging here against our blue band there. Maybe a little bit of a little rotation, a little bit higher off of that. In the 90 area, a little bit slippery. You have to be very aggressive to take the 90 area if you're going to take it at all. All right.
This blue band trade is finally working out.
Finally.
There it goes.
Working out a lot. Finally.
Why?
You just haven't been around. You know how many times Don told me, "Oh, This is Mark's trade. He would love this. How many times he's mentioned it? Oh, Mark would be. Oh, Mark here. He'd be making a killing. Oh my God, Mark. This is Mark. Oh my God, if he was here today, it's worked 10 times today.
And you took them all 10 times, right, Don?
Oh no, I didn't take.
Oh no, he's fighting it. He's fighting. He hasn't figured out how to take the blue band yet.
I'm trying to get on the other side of that
Yeah.
sucker every time.
Yeah.
He goes, "Damn, Mark's blue band. He's killing me." He still hasn't figured out how to respect it. It's okay. Everybody here trades it a little differently. But yeah, he's mentioned it a few times that, damn it, Mark, damn it. Yeah, I'm looking to get a little bit lower or higher. Damn blue band always gets in the way.
It really does.
I told you to take it off your chart.
And you make it thicker on yours, right?
Yeah, I do. I get my daughter to put it in crayon.
Well, let me ask you this: since you displaced your moving average there, did it help you any?
You know what it did? It did. It helped my entries actually quite a bit. So thank you for that. I didn't even know that option was available.
No.
Just made it a little bit easier.
Yeah, you don't have to draw any lines.
I don't. I actually had to fire my daughter.
I'm sure she's still snoozing.
Oh, they'll be up soon. She heard your voice the other day and she's like, "Is that Uncle Sal? Did he ever send me my Play-Doh?" Kids don't forget anything, I swear. I was like, "Oh my God, Amy, you remember that?"
Yeah, they do have a great memory. Get reminded of a lot of things lately. Yeah, that's funny. All right, guys, I have to take off. So if you guys can handle it for me for about an hour or so, I would appreciate it.
All right, so drive safe.
And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is our last day of the week. Remember the
Oh, that's right. Easter's.
Good Friday. Yeah, Good Friday is tomorrow. Easter is Sunday. So everybody, well, if you don't come back, have a great holiday. But hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. And we also are going to have a class tomorrow after at 12 Chicago time. Those of us who are part of the course want to join in. You can obviously join in tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it. So tomorrow is the last day of the week. And again, tomorrow, especially with the CPI number that came out yesterday and the PPI number today, really, they kind of were looking at that as big market movers in addition to the results from JP Morgan. See how they handle all that stuff. And you had a lot of Fed speaks yesterday that could have moved the market. So I doubt they're going to have too much action tomorrow, especially after the morning, unless, of course, some craziness happens in this world, which I wouldn't put it beyond anybody because it seems to be happening every day. All right, so you guys, you're on your own. Don't mess it up. Brad's listening.
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up.
You're in trouble now, brother.
John's going to give out more techniques on how to handle people at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Put lift your hood up. That's what I'm going to do today. You know, soon you're not even going to have a hood to put up anymore with these cars.
Yep. Well, tell your daughter hello.
I will. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
What's up, Mr. Jenkins?
I'm just sitting here. It's been a good morning. I can't complain about the morning. It's just.
Yeah, neither can I, actually. How things over on the farm?
I'm in a spring cleaning mode.
Uh-oh.
It's amazing how much stuff a person can collect. And I don't throw anything away. I might need that, so I put it someplace.
Oh God, you sound like my wife. It's not stuff; it's junk.
Yeah.
The amount of junk people collect.
What is it? One man's junk's another man's treasures.
Yep, that's true.
And I'm full of treasures. But you sit down and you're going to build something, and so you walk around the shop and say, "What do I have that I can make this work?" And you put it together, bits and pieces. And most of the time, I can't find what I'm looking for. That's the problem.
That's always the problem.
And so I am in a mode to kind of help categorize and streamline things. Put all my plumbing stuff in one area, and at least I know that, okay, it's in that plumbing pile over there. I may have to dig for it, but I know it's there. And it is I have lots of stuff, and through years in the greenhouse business, and we have a full scale like a carpenter shop and welding and plumbing, and I mean we have all of that stuff because we were in use of it all.
Yeah.
But now, as I'm not in the greenhouse business anymore, I still have all that stuff. And so you can't hardly even walk. I got a 60 by 100-foot building you can't hardly walk around in.
Oh, wow.
And I said, enough is enough. We build new houses, big houses. We fill them up, then we go rent mini storages to put our stuff in that we don't ever use.
Exactly.
That ought to tell you something.
Well, I was watching, I don't know if you've seen that show on A&E, Hoarders.
Oh, yeah.
They had a psychologist lady on there one time, and she was saying, I think this is so true. She's like, all the stuff that we collect. She says, if you don't touch something within a 9-month period, if you have something put away, you don't touch it, the odds of you ever touching it again or even looking at it are like so remote, because she was trying to get this guy to throw everything away, and I was thinking about that, and that was so true. Kind of going through my stuff sometimes, it's like, man, I haven't touched this or seen this in years, so
I tell you what,
we still hold on to it.
over 40 years ago, I went to an auction of a hardware store, and they had a plumbing section, a whole gondola full of, shelves full of plumbing. Man, I says, I'm going to get that. And I bid and I got it. I paid for it, but I got it. And I still have stuff 40 years later that I don't, first of all, didn't know what they were for then. I still don't.
Yeah.
And then I've never used it. So it's kind of like, guys, we just need to change our thought processes a little bit. I was thinking about that this morning, even in my trading. I'm going, look, indicators are great. I bet you I've got,
a storage full of them.
When and you start thinking, well, do I really need all these indicators? No. And I said, if I'm really not using it, I'm getting rid of it. That's what I've been doing. I just been, okay, when did I use this last? Is it just eating up space? I'll bump into something and somebody will be talking about, well, if you put this moving average on your line there, it will cost you. I'm going, then time you take the moving average and you throw in some candlesticks and you do all of this, I'm already in the trade. So it's kind of like, that didn't do me a whole lot of good.
I've got 2 moving averages on my screen. That's it. They're clean.
It, my 1 minute chart, and the reason it's so cluttered is basically I have the same thing I have on my 5 minute chart for like a 1 minute chart. Well, you take a Bollinger Band on a 1 minute chart, and the blue band is not the same. So I need to be able to look at that 1 minute chart and know where that blue band is on my 1 minute chart, that where it's at on the 5 minute chart. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I have to come up with a moving average. So I actually have two blue bands on my 1 minute chart, but a lot of it is that I need to be, if I'm paying attention to this 1 minute chart, I don't need to be going back and forth, because I'm trading in this pond right now. And so I don't see it. But now that I put this other one on there, I know where that blue band is at all times.
And you stay away from it.
Well, there's some great trades off of it. It's just that, I was looking at a bigger picture where we're going a little bit lower or something of that nature. And, but it's to the point now to where every time I get to it, every now and then it'll blow through it. But it usually stops it.
I went through a big thing, that you mentioned that when I first started, just driving myself nuts, doing different time frames, different charts, different, you really can drive yourself crazy doing that. Just, I'd see a setup on the 1 minute and then focus on that. And then there was a good setup on the 5, and then do the same thing with the 3, and just keep going back and forth and back and forth. And just, I don't know, I just found myself over trading tremendously, and then missing good opportunities on the 5 minute, which I knew I should have just stayed on. And I don't know, just sometimes when people ask me, when did you start becoming more profitable, it's like, well, I stuck to one time frame. I stopped looking at everything else.
Yeah. Well,
For some people it works, so they can do that.
Well, the only thing, I use the bigger time frame because it's king.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's the big wave.
And so, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, it's not, the setup is not quite there on the upside. And so I will go back in the 1 minute and see if I can find a setup that will get me in earlier. That's all. I'm still trading the direction of the 5 minute,
right?
But I'm using the 1 minute for my entry. But with that said, you also, if you're trading a 1 minute chart, you can't expect the same profit as you can on a 5 minute chart,
right?
Because the bars are just different. I don't know what our average true range right now of a 5 minute bar is. I suspect somewhere between 4 to 6 points.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's got to be around 5 to 6, somewhere around there.
And so, when you're trading on a 1 minute chart, you have to be realistic that, my profit targets aren't going to be as big. And, but if I'm using, the only thing I use that 1 minute is just for maybe a better entry in the same direction that my 5 minute was going to go anyway.
Right.
But I did take, after we bailed out of that one, that first push down, and we pulled back up into that 0203 range. I did take another short, and based on what the 1 minute did, and it worked out.
Would you just get a couple points out of that?
Oh no, I got 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was in at 02, and I got out at 94. It's 6-8, and so it worked. And so what is the setup, Richard? It was a pattern setup, and I can't tell you because that's part of the course. And I guess there's no Saul teaches in his course, he may show you something, but it's up to you to learn to recognize it and to be able to benefit from it.
Well, you got to build on it too.
Yeah.
You can really build on what he teaches you.
And, the levels, yes, I write the levels down. And a lot of times I'm in a trade before we even get to a level, and I can't take the level because I'm going the opposite direction based on something else that he taught me. And that's okay too. I guess, Mark, and you may disagree with me, but in my way of thinking is one is keep it simple. And two is there's nothing wrong with taking a trade. And even Saul will tell you this, have good reason to take a trade.
Right.
And but if you take the trade, always know where your out is. At some point in time, if this trade does not work out, you've got to, and nobody can tell you this part except you, and because it's your dollars, and it's your trading account, and some people, 2 points. I hate to take a loss. I'd be the first one to stand up, and I hate stops.
I'm right behind you.
But I have been in those situations where you don't put the stop in and this thing runs away. And next thing you know, you're down $1,000, $1,500. And that's hard to get back. And when you think about that, how many times can you be wrong at 2 or 3 points in a row to match up with that? Quite a few. And odds are being wrong that, but if you get down 3 times and you're wrong, you might want to back up and say, what I'm doing today is not working. So I either have to shut it down, walk away, or put it on sim and see why it's not working. It's maybe one of these days, it's a directional move. They're not letting it come off of it. And we do have, it seems like we have 1 or 2 of those a month, maybe more, but we'll be rocking along 2 or 3 weeks and not had one. And all of a sudden one day they get on this push and just nonstop, no rotations. And it's kind of like, nah, I don't like this market.
That's when you just shut it off, walk away.
I go clean the shop.
Yeah. You can't fight the market. I'm sure everyone's tried.
Oh yeah. I mean, I spend my life, trying to go uphill in a downhill battle, and it's just kind of like it just wears you out. And that's that for me. I don't know. Is it the same for you, Mark? When it gets too hard, you're probably not doing something right, or you're in the wrong direction.
Right. And you made a good point. Just shut it down. I mean, walk away, go to the shop, do something else, because it's just not you're just gonna keep fighting. And I've had days where, like you said, there's no rotation, and I keep trying to look for that rotation and force the rotation, and it's just not working. And it's not working, and your mindset's not going to change because you think, for some reason it's going to turn here, it's going to turn here, and it doesn't, and it's not going to.
Yeah,
you just got to shut it down.
Well, in these days, I try and reverse. This is where the mentality processes for me comes in. It's kind of like, okay, I come in and I say, okay, we should be going down. Well, if you I don't care what time you take. You can take 8:30 open. You can take 9 o'clock, 10. It doesn't matter. Draw your line in the sand, and it doesn't mean that you can't go down. But for right now, the market's going up.
Right.
As long as you're on the other side of that line or time period and it's still going up, don't fight it. Wait. And it'll show its hand. It will. It's amazing.
Do you use time in sales at all? The actual prints that go off?
No. I can't hardly keep track of the numbers. Right. I write them down every morning and I put them down. Then I start looking at the chart, the pattern, and I'm going, okay, well, it's doing this, it's doing that. Yeah. The next thing I know, oh, that was a number. I should have had an order sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I have
go
mine
ahead.
set to where it'll only show, on Ninja, you can set it to the size, so it'll only show trades that are, um, 20 lots and above. So if people are buying or selling 20 lots, it'll print. That's all it'll print. It won't print all the ones and twos. So, and I don't really advocate using it, but sometimes if the market's really trending and, on days like what we were talking about, and I'm trying to get short, I think that helped me realize, because I could see it, and you see 20 lots, 100 lots,
Yeah.
just buying, and I'm trying to get short, and I'm thinking, these people who are buying the 20 lots are wrong.
Yeah.
So, after you see that after a while, you kind of get a good indication there's a lot of serious buying, coming in. So I use it once in a while.
I know one trader, he uses, I guess it's volume.
Oh yeah.
It's not really volume. It's showing orders at certain levels.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And, there may be a big peak at 4,400 or something like that. And he's very successful at it. My mind won't wrap around it.
Right.
I can't. So I have to trade what my mind will allow me to trade, what I'm capable of trading. And,
right.
And I think that's what I've sat there and I've talked to a lot of different traders, and we all have our own set of demons. I mean, or our own quirks, whatever you want to call them. And, I had a guy in here the other day, and I told him, I said, I can't stress enough. There's nothing wrong with buying an investment, but I said the number one rule above all is, at what point are you going to get out?
Exactly.
Is it going to be $100, $50? And I can't tell that we come in here and basically we say, and a lot of times we say, okay, we're going to have a 2-point target with a 2-point stop. And we're probably going to be right more times than we're going to be wrong. And that, from my research, says that is a correct statement. Does it mean that we're not going to have failed trades?
Right.
No. I mean, we're human. We all have those. But it's just, I was looking at something there. How do you, I was sitting there thinking the other day, how do you train people to get that thought process in their head to where they can do it for themselves?
Oh, that's tough.
I've had a lot of, don't get me wrong, I'm not a teacher. I've just been fortunate enough to visit with a lot of Saul's students and got to be friends with them and talking with them. And I'll tell you a story about this one trader. He said he made $1 million trading stock. And my first question was, if you're making that kind of money trading stocks, why in the world are you over here in this pond?
Right.
And I talked to him one day, and he was just mad as a wet hornet, because he wasn't making any money. And I said, okay, what are you doing? Well, it was going down today, so I'm doing this and this and this. I'm going, but it didn't go down. So it's kind of like, okay, we're fighting that uphill battle, learning to recognize that, look, we're on the wrong side of this. Who was it? I read somewhere one time this guy was going to hire traders. And so he went in there and he said, okay, you're all going to have, so much money. And he'd say, okay, you're going to be long, you're short, you're long, you're long, you're long, you're short. That's where you have to start with. And he always figured out the best traders were one that figured out they're on the wrong side of the market. They would reverse their position and go the other way. I'm going, really and truly, there's a lot of truth in that, because when we come in and sit down, I don't care how hard I've tried to figure out which way this market's going. I'll hit it for a while, then it doesn't work. Have you experienced the same thing?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
it's kind of like, Saul is correct on this too. It's kind of like, don't come in with that bias. Just come in and trade what it's doing.
Right.
I'm going, that would be way too simple. It just,
No, that was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn. I think that Sal had a pound in my head was, I would tell him, Sal, after wrap up, almost every day when I first started, but it was doing this and it was doing that. And I wanted it to do that. And I thought was, and he kept saying, what is that word? What's that word you keep saying? Thought. You thought, what are you thinking about?
that's
Your
it.
job is not to think.
That's it.
Your job is to trade what is exactly in front of you. You trade what's in front of you, and that's it. You don't think.
Yeah.
You trade what you see.
That's it.
You keep your opinion and your thoughts out of it.
That's it. And if I do that, I find that I'm a whole lot better trader.
Yeah.
I mean, I get rid of so much fluff, and it's kind of like you come in the morning, you're not encumbered by, it's going to do, first of all, I don't know what it's going to do.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
You can talk to them, see if anybody's got any questions.
Here are the levels again in case anyone came in late.
Did you make any money while I was gone?
Odds.
There's just I don't know what am I trying to say. There's just tons of trades every day.
Yeah. That there is.
I'm really proud of myself today. I've only traded 3 times.
Man, that's amazing for you.
I'm telling
Oh
you.
my God.
But Saul, there again, Saul is right. It's kind of like, just slow down, pick better spots, just have better trades. All right.
I think one of the most important things that I always have a problem with too was, and I think a lot of people do, is sticking to your system, like sticking to, I lost a lot of money, like not going against Sal, but it's like I would take his levels and then I would make up my own trades, and I was doing
Yeah.
this and I was doing that, and I was all over the place. And then again, after the wrap up with Sal when I first started and go through my trades, and he's like, "Well, what the hell was that trade? What are you talking about? I didn't have that level. What are you doing?" And again, it looked like it was gonna break here, and
I know.
it's exactly where you lost money, right? Yeah, okay.
You were thinking.
Yeah, just be very methodical about it. Just come in. This is what I'm gonna do. These are my setups. This is all I'm gonna take. My setups aren't there. I'm done. I'm not gonna trade. And it took me, I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to, really stick to that, just be, again, methodical and just, this is all I'm going to do. And I'm not going to do anything else. And, I even, sometimes catch myself sometimes, and sometimes it'll actually work out. Or it's like, man, if I would have taken that trade, it would have worked, but it's not part of my system. It's not part of Sal's system. It's just stick to it, and
Yeah.
that's it. And just be consistent.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Well, he told me when I first started, he said, the only difference between you and I is that I believe in the numbers.
Right.
And I'm going, well, that's true.
I would ask him, "Stop, didn't you take this trade? Well, didn't you see this setup over here? And, what about that band? How come it bounced right off of that band? How come you didn't take that?" And it's like, just very calmly and cool, like he does. That's not what I do. I trade the levels. I trade the blue band. If it's the right setup, then that's it. There's nothing else. Like,
we had a guy come in the other day that wanted to talk with Saul, and he said he run a trading room, and he asked, "Are you always this calm?" And people typed in and said, "Yeah, always." And I typed in to tell him it's the drugs.
The morning alcohol and the coffee.
Yeah. Another thing about this 1 minute chart, there's 5 of them 1 minute bars in that 1 5-minute bar.
Yeah.
And so you're going, man, this thing is just wearing me out.
Yeah.
Just waiting on. Yeah. They can't make up their mind whether they want to take it up or take it down.
Oh, I know. I'm just watching this, like, what's going on? This 44. That's
that 04 was an area this morning that I saw. That 4,400. Come on. Give me one more point. There we go. That's a good trade.
To get short?
Yep. I was sitting up there at 44.04, waiting for it to come down to this 4,400, that 99 area.
Probably going to touch the blue band again.
Yeah.
Go through it. So how many screens do you use, Don? I think I asked you that before.
How many what?
Screens, like monitors, do you have in front of you?
I have 4.
Oh, you do? Uh-oh.
But really and truly, one screen is designated nothing but little Saul's little website picture that you see in the chat.
Oh, okay.
I like free. I mean, basically, that's where all my trading stuff's at. You got to have one for your ladder to be on, or some spot on a screen for a ladder to be on.
Right.
And really and truly, I've got to the point now where I really don't need an hourly up there or a 30-minute up there or a daily up there, because I know I can look at that 5-minute chart and I can tell where my hours start and I can tell where my 30 minutes start. So I can see what a 30-minute bar looks like. Make sense?
Yeah.
And so I pay attention to my 5-minute, and I'll look at my hourly to check on some levels or something that I didn't see. Oh, this is interesting. I like the triangles. Triangles. I'm amazed at them.
I got in too early. No, the reason why I was asking, because I don't know if you heard of that psychologist Schlessenberger or something like that. He's like one of these big psychologist dudes, and he's talking about the amount of information your mind can process, all at one time, and you shouldn't be using more than, most serious traders. He said most only use 1 to 2 monitors, because it's true, your mind can only process so much information, while you're looking at it, and it's so true. And he used the example of like when they launch a space shuttle and they show mission control, they've got that room full of people sitting in front of the monitors.
Yeah.
He's like you don't see 1 or 2 guys sitting in front of 30 or 40 monitors, because it's impossible to suck in all that information, and it's true. It's like, so everyone gets 2 monitors and that's it. You monitor 2 systems, and you're done. It's just the way your mind processes information. And I was like, oh wow, they're so true.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I see these on YouTube, some of these setups, and these guys that just start trading, they've got 8, 9, 10 monitors all over the place. And I'm thinking, how can you process that much information?
Well, this system that I'm running these 4 on, I can run like 8 or 10 monitors on it if I want. I don't really use his bond charts, or I've got the same hourly charts as he's got. I've got the same data that he has, so I don't use them. It's just over there to fill up space. And I could get away with 2. I know Saul's got 2 27s or 32-inch. He's got 2 big monitors, and really and truly, that's plenty. So I don't know. It
No, maybe some of the younger kids can do it.
Yeah.
I can't.
I've asked a bunch of these guys that build these big, fast gaming computers and all of this, and this is this fast. I says, well, let me ask you a question. Is the human mind capable of operating at that speed?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, are you capable of, and I know some of these kids are really fast, but it's kind of like, okay, are you really pressing the limits of the computer, or are you just pressing the limits of your mind?
Right.
And I don't. The only thing I did, I went to a class one time that had the psychologist in it, and she was explaining to me that, okay, if you drew a line horizontally through the center of your eyeballs, and everything from the center up is visual, everything from the center down is mental. So if you're reading, you're mentally reading something to the downside. And she said they found out that people that were taking a Series 7 test, where the test was on a computer screen up at the height of the class, above the height of everybody sitting at a desk, and they were failing it and they couldn't figure out why. Well, then when they went back, what they're doing, they're studying in the visual, in the mental part.
Oh, looking down.
But when they went to take the test, they were reading the question above, and there's a disconnect between the visual and the mental. And she says, if you're a visual type person, you want the center of your monitor to be just a little bit higher than when you're sitting at your chair, than the center of your monitor a little bit higher than the center of your eyes if you drew a line across it. And I said, okay. So I come back and I'm going, So I gathered up a bunch of books and stuff, and I stacked them up until I got the height that I was looking for. And lo and behold, I saw things I've never seen before. It's kind of like, I'm going, I'm not believing this. Maybe I don't know, but it seemed, I went so far as, okay, I like this. I'm seeing things. I'm a more visual type person.
Right.
So I went and bought me a sheet of plywood, and I cut me. It looks like a C, a half circle C. And then I set all my monitors up on it, and I put me some little legs on it. Now I got a little storage underneath my monitors, and so it works. It did for me anyway. So
yeah, it's the way your mind sees things.
But I'm like you. I'm a big believer in to just keep it simple. We don't have to do all of this stuff. Can you imagine what it was like to be a pit trader like Saul? You walked in and you didn't have all of this stuff.
Right.
You just had some numbers.
And there were no screens to look at and stare at. All I had was news and little numbers on them.
Yeah.
Now that you brought that up, I wanted to go to see. How many times did we schedule it to go see Sal's little booth?
Oh yeah.
Okay, God, I wanted to do that so bad. Now it's gone.
Yeah. I guess we just gonna have to show up and go to Chicago and did him. Say, call him up and say, we're coming to your house for the barbecue.
Show up at the front door.
I got tickled. We were on air one morning, and anyway, I'm messing around on Google Earth, and I says, "Do you have a gray house with white trim?" He's going, "Yeah." And
is your car parked in the driveway right now?
Well, I couldn't see his car. They got too many trees. But it's kind of like, man, you can see all sorts of stuff from Google Earth. I like going to some place like the Eiffel Tower and seeing it. And it's kind of like, man, I could take a trip, never leave the farm. Technology, 20 years ago, you couldn't do this. Or 30 years ago, you couldn't do this.
All right.
We didn't have all these computer screens, and now it's so simple. I just want, do you get a lot of ads or deal inviting you to webinars about the robots and the bots that trade?
And, different auto traders and things like that. Yeah.
And I attended one the other day, just listening to it, and I'm going, man, how are we going to compete against this? It just,
Right. No, it amazes me. They talk about the speed, like, oh, we're the fastest. And I guess they measure it down to like microseconds because,
yeah,
this one, I kind of did the same thing a while back. And they were saying that the closer you get, if your server farm is, the closer to the Chicago Board of Trade, you're going to have that microsecond advantage. Now they're talking about all the space that's available to rent, in the Board of Trade, and it's, all these people are trying to gobble it up to build server farms inside of there, just to have that extra advantage of, being closer to the actual servers there. So, I mean, the things that people do with, these computers and stuff, it's just mind blowing. I mean, my orders come from California just as fast as I'm sure everybody else's,
it is. Mine is what it is. I get aggravated sometimes. I'll put in a trade. It's kind of like, are you ever going to take me? Take it.
Yeah, no, I'm that way when I'm sitting on a profit. It's like, okay, get me out already. I'm going to hit my,
I just hit a target. I just hit the close button. I don't even worry about it. Just get me out. Man, that deal there at 9 o'clock, and it fell fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that move was less than 2 minutes. Now, I'll tell you something. If you really want fast.
Oh, don't talk about tick charts.
No. Oh, no. I'm down to a 15-second chart.
Oh, no. You serious?
And, it's kind of like, it's got its place. Basically, I'm doing the same thing that I would be on a 5-minute, except it's just a quicker, shorter pattern.
Yeah. But see, that's another thing that got really, that messes a lot of people up too. So, and I said, fight with Sal about that too. Am I, he would ask me, so what are you? Are you a scalper? Are you a position trader? Are you holding all day, or what exactly are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I would tell him that I would hate scalping and get a nice, 2 point or a 1.5 profit. And then I get so frustrated because I was making money, but it was taking off. It was still, it would go another 5 points without me, and it's like, well, it could have gone the other way without you also. I could have gone the other way with you, to stop you out and lose a lot of money. Yep. So picking a style and sticking to that style is incredibly important also, because you can't be a scalper one day and then say, oh, today I want to hold on to this and, see how far it goes. And it's either one or the other.
I guess out of all the courses and stuff that I've taken, and in all fairness to all of them, they were all great courses. The people that used them made money at it. But you got to get to the point, I think, to where you have to realize, look, I like this style. And I am a scalper. I'm here to just take a little bit of here and a little bit there every day. I'm not, every now and then we get a home run.
Right.
Like that trade this morning. I mean, it went down 10 points. I'm going, I'm out. I don't care where it's going. I'm out. And so, when you do that, it's just kind of like, you just keep piling up the coconuts.
Right.
What gets me is, and I learned this from an option trader. He said, okay, would you want to make 30% on 10 contracts or make 10% on one contract?
Right.
I'm going, well, the 30%, because what he was doing, he was buying out of the money he puts in calls.
Uh-huh.
And he says that out of the money one will move twice as fast as this one here that's almost in the money.
Right.
So, and he says, not only that, he says, you can only afford one of those contracts where you can afford, 10 of these others.
Right. Exactly.
So it's kind of like, makes sense. And he says, your rate of return will be higher, but you have to have an idea on what this thing might do too. So and when you realize that a lot of these bots, they're only in it to make a point, quarter of a point, half a point. They don't
Right.
care, but they can do it 99.9% of the time.
Right. And then how many hundreds of times a day they do it over and over and over again.
And so, I remember when I first started, it's kind of like I'd sit in front of this computer and I'd fight it. And there were some days I couldn't make $50. I mean, first of all, the market wasn't moving much back then. And you'd sit in a trade, and you'd be up a quarter of a point. Now I'm up a half a point.
Yeah.
Get me out quick. And now
it's amazing to see how the market moves now compared to the way it did before. Because I used to tell Sal, I remember those days when, they would be on the ladder ticket, there would be 1,000 lots, 3,000-4,000 lots on each level.
Yeah.
And it would only move, a couple of every few minutes, like 5-10 minutes. It's like, man.
Yeah.
But those guys are trading 300-400 contracts at a time, to make any money because there's just no movement. And then to see the way it is now, it's just insane.
I like it when we don't have 100 lots on the ladder ticket.
Do you really?
No, I do. I mean, it's just moving fast.
Yeah.
Once they start getting 100 to 200 or 300, man, it slows way down. We got this VIX up in here at 23 today. So, our movement is fairly good. But we're also coming in at 10 o'clock. And let's see, we had Saul had the 4,400 in there this morning.
Yeah, then the 09 worked well. So the next level on the upside would be the 22.
Yeah. Well, what was our pivot? Pivot was 90.
43.90.
Yeah. It well, the 09 worked well, the blue band worked well. I took a 3 down to the 94, and I took the 4,400. I mean 4,404 back down to the 04 area. So, but it was a price action play,
right?
And I don't think a lot of people realize that there's more than just the levels in there that's happening. And I wish it would show me something else.
No more 30-40 trades a day for you, Don.
Okay, see. I wish we'd pop up there toward the 09 area. I'd like to take another one. Where are we going to go down to if we do?
Well, my kitties are up, Don.
Well, better you than me.
Well, yeah, let me know when you get that school farm going.
Oh, yeah.
I've got your first set of students.
It's sad that the information that I have about all of this just in this shop alone. And my grandkids and stuff aren't interested in that stuff. And I wish some kid would come up and says, "Hey, can you teach me to do this?" I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah.
Just to share some of this knowledge that we have, that it's going to be wasted if we don't use it. I know. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, my brother.
You too. It's good talking to you again. Have a good one, and I will see you.
You going to post the levels one more time?
I will, yeah.
Okay, thanks a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone out there has any questions, feel free to ask.
Have a good one, Don.
You too.
Take care.
I'll be more than happy to share with you what I can. Richard, I wasn't trying to be coy and not tell you, just that some of these trades, it just wouldn't be fair to the people that paid to take sol scores. I know it, as far as I know, everybody that I've taken it, and Mark's taken it, and we've had a couple of trades today. The 4400, he gave you time to scratch or get out, whatever you want. The 09 worked. Had to take a little heat through it. First level coming back into our blue band trade work. So basically we've had 3 trades. Then there's been a few price action trades in there. Albert, how's things in your part of the world? Hadn't heard from you in a while. Okay, let's see where we're at. We're coming up to a 17 area. Next level up there is going to be a 22. I had a 17 area in there. And if you took it, well, nobody knew about it except me, I guess. You're getting paid off. So 17 worked out okay. Now, if we could just talk it into coming back down to the 04 level, be great. Coach team, tell you what, um, the person probably would be to ask about that would be Saul. And I think he's going to have a class tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I'm running Ninja Trader, so uh, I couldn't answer it. But tomorrow, when you're in class, you can share your screen with him, and he can look at it and probably tell you, or if you know have certain specific questions, which ones you might think it would be. That would be the best deal. Now, if it was a Ninja Trader question, I could help you with. More than welcome. I don't know where Brad is. Usually he's stuck his head back in by now. Guys, this morning, Mark and I were just shooting the breeze, and I hope you've gained something from listening to us. It just, especially the new people in here, just keep it simple, have a reason, have a level, and just we're we're here to scalp the market. We're not here to hit home runs, but we do get them every now and then. Sometimes they're good ones. And as you can see, it's after 10 o'clock. Things have slowed down considerably. 5-minute bars have kind of gotten a little smaller. Uh, doesn't mean somebody can't come out and say boo and this thing take off in one direction or another. But this morning was a good morning, especially with that big drop that we had. That's just icing on the cake. But you're going to have to kind of take what Saul teaches you. And even if you're not taking his class, if you'll listen to what he's saying and kind of listen carefully and not, sometimes I will say something kind of like what I just did a while ago was that 17 coming up to it. Well, he's trying to teach you to do this on your own. If something happened and Saul's not here, he said, well, I can't trade today. I don't know. Well, you're going to have to learn to come up with these areas on your own and the reasons for yourself. And okay, we're coming up into our 22 area. And me, I like the 20 area too. So. But if you were able to sell the 20s, you should get paid off. You ought to make a few points out of it. It just but the better level is at 22 to 24, somewhere in there. And I won't sit on this thing long. If I make a point out of it, fine. Yeah. Saul has all the news, the good news feeds. I don't have any. You know, really and truly, when he comes on in the morning, I write the numbers down, and usually by then I'm already trading. So in a lot of cases, I will use the numbers to get out of a trade, and depends on how fast this trade's moving or something of that nature. I'm liable to get out of one and or say he has a number up here at 22 and I'm long from 16. Well, what I'm liable to do is to sell two at 22 or sell it at 2150 or 21, get out of one and wait for the next one to trigger in to get me back down. But, that is something that works for me a lot of times. It's not something you do. So all of these things that Mark and I were talking about today is you're going to have to come up with your own personal money management strategy, because nobody can tell you how to run your account, which they shouldn't. It's your money, and nobody's going to look out for it like you will. Saul is here to teach you where and why we're trading what we trade. But even though we can teach you, we can't manage your accounts. Only you can do that. And so if you choose not to use a stop, if you choose to try and set in to a situation that's too long, that it's just kind of like, for instance, the 4,400, you don't have a whole lot of time to be making up your mind. You're either going to have to scratch, break even, take a little loss, do something quick, you just, and that's to the point to when you're new, you're excited, and usually you're holding on to that stop position and you're getting stopped out. Well, it didn't give you the reaction we were looking for quick enough, and we sat in that trade for what, 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, we had several times spots that we could have got out of it. And it had a point to where we could have got out and made a point. Trade wasn't working out, get out. If you had more than one contract on, trim down your load. If you want to see what it's going to do, it's trim down your load and either move your stop or leave your stop in there. Or if you're going to take 1 point in profit, take a point in profit and move your stop down to within 1 point of your entry. And so the trade didn't cost you anything, except commissions. It just, but if you're not satisfied with that, you got to make up your mind. Well, just get out. Well, if you got a 2-lot running, you got 2 points on it. That's $100 on a trade that didn't go where we wanted it to go. The ones that really hurt are the ones that hit a level, bounce down a little bit, and then not do very much. And a real good example is that 20 area. It's just kind of like we've been up there 1, 2, 4, 6 minutes now. We have not broken. And so it would behoove you to go ahead and say, okay, maybe I ought to just get out, make a couple of ticks on the trade. Now you're into a point on the trade. So it's just you don't ever know. I guess the point I'm making is we really don't know where these things are going. It's just not going and where we thought it should go when it should go. So in order to protect our capital, you make decisions. To me, uh, uh, even one tick on a trade is, after commissions, you still made $8. If we hit two ticks, I made $20. Does it sound like a lot of money? No, she didn't lose any money either. Just about all these situations will give you one or so points. We've been up to 21 for a little while now. 22 may be a little bit suspect. May want to take the upper end of it. Now watch it work out. I like the 23, 24 area now versus the 22. For 20. Getting where I don't like this at all. Take the 24 straight up. Well, I still see the 22 down there. This is one of these situations where it's just not doing it fast enough. For me, anyway, this morning. We're coming in at 10:30. My stop is at 24. I'm either going to make money on this thing or I'm going to scratch a trade. I'm in at 24. I'm going to take 23 and get out. Pilsiter say you can't should have. It's kind of like, okay, my expectations were down to 22. Should it hit 22? Sure. When? I have no idea. It didn't do it quick enough that I wanted to stay in the trade over it, not for 2 points. So it gave you a point to get out at 23, 23 and a quarter, 23.50, 23.75. Just you could have made a little bit on the trade. I'm like, okay, yep. I just wasn't willing to risk losing any, not a 2-point stop for a 2-point target, not on this trade. We should have got a little bounce from it, but it's not doing it fast enough, not for my way of thinking. I still believe we'll get to the 22. It's just I don't have to be right. I've been right enough today. I'm just going to say knock on wood. Say thank you, Lord. The next level above our 22 is going to be up at 30. Our next level is going to be up at 30. I like the 28s, I like the 30s, and I like the 31s. Now see if it'll give us 22. We'll be all right. Well, the 28 paid off. Let's see, where do I think this thing should go? Well, that one says it should take us to 21. We'll see. I've lightened my load. I'm sitting there at break even. I have nothing in the trade, but wait and see. I know we should get to 22. '21 would be 19. Okay, I got my 22 finally. Should go to 21 at a minimum, 2150. Got down to 2175. And let's see, that 28 was a high of last night on Globex. But I also see that 30 and 31 is still in play up there. And we're probably going to get there. Just we'll have to see how it handles this 2150. Thank you, Richard. I had a reason to take the trade. I had an area that I thought we should rotate back into. So you just take the trade. Did the trade work out? Yes. It took 2, 4, almost 5 whole minutes for it to come to fruition. I'd feel better if we just drop on down there and touch that 2150, 19 area somewhere in there. 2150, be realistic. 1950 would be a target area. But, in this trade from the 28 down to the 22, that's fine. But this, we're 10:30 approaching 11 o'clock. I think one of the secrets to this is it's okay to take trades if you have a reason, but then you have to learn that, okay, take trades that the probabilities of the trade working out are probably pretty good. And, you have a reading, you have a probability, you got some idea on where this thing might go. And then just take the trade. And if you do that day in and day out, you'll find out that you tend to be more profitable and more, what am I trying to say? Your odds are in your favor. The probabilities start going way up. I don't know why it doesn't want to. There we go. We got to the 2150. Now, if it'll just touch the 1950, then my analysis on this whole trade would be right. Am I still in the trade? Absolutely not. I've made my money. 22 was the give me. 2150 was a probability. If I'd have looking at 2150, I'd have been looking out at 2175 as an out. So 2175, 22, it's not worth the aggravation. Not for me anyway. So now we get to see what it wants to do. Now we're being patient. We're sitting on the sidelines. We're waiting. You also have to realize that, look, we're coming into 11 o'clock. People in New York are going to lunch. And at 12 o'clock, people in Chicago, I don't know if they go at 11 or 12, but then it's going to get slow. And it'll be probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon before it starts. I mean, if you've got the patience to sit here, there's this trade after trade after trade that this will keep popping up. This levels, areas, price action plays, pattern trades, just, then if you're new to this, you're excited, you want to make money, and you're making mistakes, and for the new people that are just starting out, my suggestion is you get your trading platform and you put it on sim account and you learn to run it. You learn to put in a buy at the market, buys, sell at the market, sell stops, buy stops. Most all the platforms now have a thing to, when you put in an order and your order's triggered, it throws in your stop and your target instantly. That will keep you out of trouble. The only thing that you might have to do is, depending on the volatility, and there again, if the VIX is really high, you're going to have bigger stops. Just this market, the bars are going to be so big and they rotate so much and so fast that if you do not have a bigger stop, you're just going to give them your money. But with that said, if you don't do that, let's go see if we're going to get that 1950 out of it, but sure is fighting it. With that said, if it's too rich for your blood, it's okay to sit on the sidelines. There's nothing that says I have to trade today. There's a lot of, I want to trade today, but if the market gets kind of squirrely, I just kind of sit on my hands and kind of like, it's too rich for my blood. I'll just sit back. It will calm down. Just give it a few days. They'll suck the volatility right back out of it, and it'll go back into trading range. But I also remember what it's like when the VIX was down to a 10. Man, you might as well go outside and watch your grass grow. It's slow. I mean, we get bored then. Then when you get bored, then you start making up trades, and that's not good. Richard, I don't use the VIX. The VIX is just a measurement of, we call it fear and greed, or I call it fear and greed. The higher the VIX, the more volatility we have, and people are jumping in and out of the market. And what you'll see is the bars are bigger. We're running about a 22.43 right now, VIX. And so you go back, I forgot when it was, when we were in the 30 VIXs. The market today is up 28 points. NASDAQ's up 200, and the Dow's up 160. When you start to see the S&P up 100 or down 100, especially if it's down, if it's really down 100, and the Dow's down 700-800, and the NASDAQ's down probably 100, that'd be about 300 for the NASDAQ, 400 somewhere in there. And when you start to see those, then you start to look at the volatility. When we start looking at normal ranges of the market every day, and you can go to what is it, a average true range indicator, and it will tell you the average true range of the bars. So if the true range is expanding, your stops are going to have to expanding. And with that, you're probably going to see the volatility, or the VIX, go up. So usually all you got to do is look at the chart, and you can tell whether we've got quite a bit of volatility in there. Us as traders, we like to see a VIX of around 20 to probably to about 24, 25 area, somewhere in there. 19, it gets kind of slow. It gets below the 18s, it really gets slow. And where you can tell it most is that first. I mean, when you look at our 5-minute chart this morning and you look at the first hour, 8:30 to 9:30, look at the size of those bars. I mean, this thing was moving around good. And then after about 9:30, it started creeping down. Then all of a sudden it shot up. We went to the high last night. I keep thinking we're going to go to there's that 1950. So, but do I make trades off the VIX? No. It's just kind of a simple way to look over there at my platform and tell the VIX is at 22. Well, the volatility is pretty good. So if the VIX was up at 30, you would see these little bars turn into big bars. And therefore, when you're up that high and the bars are that big, it's not to say you couldn't trade. I mean, you could trade with a 1-point stop, but the drawback to it is you're going to have to be so perfect on you have to pick the exact entry. And the probabilities of picking the exact entry point, long or short, is a luck. You're going to be lucky if you do. So if you're going to buy a level or an area, you need some breathing room for that trade to work out. Or I was trying to make the trade work at 20. Well, it didn't. I got out. We went to 28. I said, okay, I'm willing to try the 28, for at least the 22. It got out. So if the volatility was really there, that meant my 28. See, I also had the 30, just like Saul did. And I had the 31. I figured if we got to 30, we'd get to 31. So if I'm in at 28, I'm going to try one at 28. I'm going to try another one at 31. So I'm going to put 2 in there, looking for 22. But, when I got to 31, then I got a 35 out. And so for me, that amount of stop loss is okay because I had faith in what this thing should do based on what I'm seeing the price action doing. And it worked out. It doesn't mean that I know what's going on in the market. It's just kind of like my analysis told me we should do this, this, and this. And if it doesn't do it at 28, then possibly at 31 area, it'll do it again. So, it worked out. Knock on wood. The trade, not all these trades work out, but, if it didn't work out, I know where I'm wrong. It's an acceptable amount of loss for me. And a 2-lot was not too much. Now, with that said, that means I didn't run a stop at 28. My stop was at 35. Also I had an entry set up at 31. So if it did break up there, then I went from 28 to 31. And that means my entry now is going to be at 29. And now I've got a 6-point stop on a 2-lot. Well, if it wouldn't have done something pretty quick, I'd have reduced that down and just said, hey, get me out. At 31, 34 would have been a good out. But at the 28, the 35 was my first out with another entry at 31. Well, the 28 worked. We didn't make it to the 30, 31. But, you know, this is the kind of stuff that you have to kind of play out in your head for you, not what, you know, not what Saul's doing. You know, everybody wants to copy somebody. And I don't know about you, but I have come along and tried copying other folks, and it just doesn't work. So what he's trying to teach you to do is don't copy, learn to do it for yourself and be your own trader. And let me tell you, once you reach that point, you're going to find out that, hey, this is really nice. This trading gig is not a bad gig to have. You know, I walk in, my overhead is my computer and my data and stuff like that. Other than that, I sit down and I can take some money out of this market every day, day in and day out. I get upset when the weekend go up that we can't trade. It's kind of like, now what I do. We have some support back at our blue band right now. I think we probably have better support up around the 12 area. Got some at 14, 12 to 14 right now. Guys, I'm in a talking mode. If y'all want to ask questions, ask away. If I can tell you without divulging Saul's system, I can tell you a lot about what we do, but there's some things that you just gotta, it wouldn't be right to the people that's paid. Nor it wouldn't be right to Saul. You know, he spent a lot of years doing this. But I tell you one thing, it really is hard to sit in front of this microphone, and I'll give you a challenge for each and every one of you. You sit down in front of your computer and you say, okay, these are, you can write Saul's levels down. These are my levels. And then I would put your trading account in sim account, because you're going to make some mistakes or the market's not going to work out. Put these levels in there and then trade them. Just like you would if you were Saul's. You know, you got to have some rules. Am I going to trade the exact level? Am I going to wait till this thing jumps up there, then see if I can get in? Or am I going to put my orders where I've done my calculations, put my stops in, and see what happens as they're triggered in, and trade that? And when you can sit down and come in here every day and start trading these areas, and that's the thing. Everybody wants an exact number. These are not exact. They're areas. They're areas that we expect the market to react from or to. And so, and then when you learn to do that, you start learning to trust yourselves. then this all of this will start to make a lot of sense and it will become easier. But let me tell you, at first, you're going to have, like Mark said this morning, we have too much information on our screens. And you look at Saul's screens up there, there's not a whole lot of information in there. Really and truly, the red part of those Bollinger Bands, I don't have on my charts. Well, first of all, they don't make any sense to me, and I can't see a way to trade them. I know the Bollinger Band says once you hit a band, you're supposed to rotate back to the center. Yeah, but it can rotate. It can go a long way before it rotates back to that center. So the only thing I did, I took the Bollinger Bands and I went in there and I went to the settings, and instead of the bars, the outer bands being red, I put them white. Then left the blue band, and that was it. But when you turn around and you look at this and you're trading just off a price, you wonder why do we have all these other indicators on there? For a green pen, Robert, you've been doing okay? Let's see, Philip, I see support. I see some at 14 and probably a little bit better at probably 11 to 12 area. That's the first. The blue band's coming in at 14 right now. I would expect to see some at 14, and I would expect to see 1150 area. You're most welcome. And quit trying to figure out what the market's doing. Like Mark and I were talking this morning, just trade what it's doing and not what you think it's going to do. Because I get myself into more trouble doing that. And that's not what this system here is designed to do. It's designed, we're here to scalp the market. And we're not position traders. We're not 2 or 3 days in a position. It's nice when it works out like that, but now I'm guilty for looking and seeing something in the afternoons or at night, said, okay, we're going back to this. And I'll put on a big position. I say a big position, I got a safety stop of about 30 points. Safety only, in case something comes out during the night, this thing just tanks off. But other than that, this thing's moving around. Used to the nighttime range was about 10, 11 points. Now you're liable to wake up and be up 30, 40 points in the morning. So if you're going to trade this market at night, put on a position and go to bed, you're either going to have to sit with it and watch it and keep moving your stop around to hopefully get to your target or get stopped out and make a little profit and look for a new position to re-enter. Or you're going to have to put a big old stop out there to give it plenty of rotational room to get to where you want it to go. I've done it enough to where that's okay with me, because I know that as big as that stop is, in the long haul, I've made more money than worrying about my stop placement. I'll be looking at a 10 or 15 point swing, and I get in and got a good entry level, and I'm sitting there. So it goes up 7, 8, 9, 10 points. Then here it comes back down, and my stop is at break even. I'm asleep and I'm stopped out, and it can't reposition. You just scratched out. I mean, I didn't lose any money, but I didn't take a $500 profit when I had it either. And so if I'm going to go to sleep and leave this thing on, I'm going to have to put on a pretty good size stop. And but also, if you do that, you better be right, because if you don't, you're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to be very expensive. Usually by 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, usually about the time I get up, I walk in there and punch a button on the computer, said, where are we at? If I'm profitable in the green, and I may move my stop up a little bit, just see what happens. But I don't have a problem with putting on a position at night and going to sleep. I mean, I don't worry about them. I'm either going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. But if you learn to trade like Saul's teaching you, then it is you learn the better you get at it, the less mistakes you made. And he tells this, just I know, several times a week, if not every day. Pick your spots. Slow down. Forget about I got to trade, and just slow down. Look for a spot. Look for some price action. Look for these. Have a reason. Now, if you can layer these more reasons in on top of these, hey, that's great. It will help even more. But, if you get into a trade and your trade doesn't work out, and let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of them that will not work out. That's just the nature of the bid. It's trading. It's not. But the probabilities of the trades working out, and seeing this is when you first start out, you get hammered. You think, oh, I'm jumping in. I know when I started out, I'd jump in and I'd get stopped out. Boy, and I'd get mad. I'd jump in, I'd get stopped out. Then I tried to start forcing trades, and you don't do that. You once you're in a trade, really and truly, you can only do one thing, and one thing only, and that is manage that money. So at that point, once you're in the trade, you have to be a money manager. And this is not something you're going to be able to sit down and think about it for 15, 20 minutes or something like this. Look, this thing is moving around. You really want to see how fast it moves? Turn this thing down to a 30, 1 minute chart's okay, but a 30-second or a 15-second chart. This thing has a lot of bumps and grinds in a 5-minute bar. And but it just we're taking out all that stress, all of that stuff. We've got some numbers up there. We've got a blue band. I've got a few more lines on my chart. But like Mark said, if we're not using that stuff, it doesn't need to be on your chart. We may every now and then I will put something on my chart. I'll see something, and somebody will be talking about an indicator, and I'll put it on there and try to monitor it, look at it, and see if I can make heads or tails of it. But after a while, if it's not making me money, I don't want it. It's time to go. I like the play from 18 to 23. It is just a pure price action play about the 18s. They sure are making it hard to stay in this trade. Come on, take me. You know you want me. There we go. Trade worked. It was just a price action play. Of course, it took, let's see, 2, 4, 6, it took 8 minutes for it to work out, but it did. Guys, we're coming into 11:30. I've been doing this all morning long, so should have touched 23.75s where it should have. There we go. But 23 was good enough. Now, where are we going from here? We're going to go to that 30, 31. We'll see. We've been to 28.75. So the 30 may be a little bit suspect now. You may want to move your entry a little bit. And again, the probabilities of it working out are probably a little less than what it was if we'd have been down here, say 26 and reversed down. But we got close to 29. We got within a point and a quarter of it. So don't when I took the 18, my blue band wasn't up there yet. It was probably sitting back around the 15, 17 area, somewhere in there. Let's see, today is what is today? Wednesday. We have one more trading day before Easter Friday coming up. I have no idea what I had to look back at a chart for last year at Easter, see what it did last year. Last year's probably going to be skewed a little bit with the COVID. So I'll be back in the morning. I hope his daughter made it in on time and he didn't have to raise his hood and look under the hood. And he should be back in the morning. I guess we'll all be back in the morning. But right now, I think I'm fixing to shut it down for a little while. I'm going to be in the background, in and out. I'm assuming Brad's going to be in and out. And so I guess I will see y'all tomorrow. If you have any questions, just ask them. Like I say, I'll be coming back and forth. But we will see y'all tomorrow if I don't.
Hey, a couple quick programming notes. Want to thank Don, want to thank Mark, obviously thanking Saul for providing such a wonderful service. This is Trade Along Live with Saul, focused on the S&P 500 E-mini. We start here at 9 a.m. We generally end at 12 noon. Body of the trading happens between 9:30 and 11:30. Trading days. Saul gives out his levels and zones as a roadmap for the morning session. You trade along with him. You have Don popping in. You got Mark popping in. There's a lot that goes on here, both publicly and privately. Make sure you're signed up for the service so you don't get banned. A lot of people popping in and out. Want to make sure everybody's accounted for and everybody is playing ball. Hey, Nick, how you making out? Andrea? Adriana? Both Give me a quick shout out. Let me know how you're making out. I'll look for you in the background as you're signing up. You want to join us on a daily basis, tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. If you want to learn about opportunities to learn price action trading from Saul, you can go to tradealongtradingacademy.com, tradealongtradingacademy.com. So if you like what we're doing here, tell your friends. They use the link tradealonglive.com. And we'll see you again on the flip side.